Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
And now chapter 17, Taking Shelter of Krishna, the Supreme Controller. Text 41. Nanyatra mad bhagavata pradana purusheshvarat atmana sarva bhutanam bhayam tivram nivartate. Translation. The terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself, for I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, and also the Supreme Soul of all souls. Purport. It is indicated herein that the cycle of birth and death cannot be stopped unless one is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. It is said, Harim vina naiva sritim taranti. One cannot surpass the cycle of birth and death unless one is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same concept is confirmed herewith. One may take to the system of understanding the absolute truth by one's own imperfect sensory speculation, or one may try to realize the self by the mystic yoga process. But whatever one may do, unless he comes to the point of surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no process can give him liberation. One may ask if this means that those who are undergoing so much penance and austerity by strictly following the rules and regulations are endeavoring in vain. The answer is given by Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Verse 32. Ye nye ravindaksha vimukta manina. Lord Brahma and other demigods prayed to the Lord when Krishna was in the womb of Devaki. They said, quote, My dear lotus-eyed Lord, there are persons who are puffed up with the thought that they have become liberated or one with God or have become God, but they are unintelligent. Unquote. It is stated that their intelligence, whether high or low, is not even purified. With purified intelligence, a living entity cannot think otherwise than to surrender. Bhagavad Gita therefore confirms that purified intelligence arises in a very wise man. Bahunam janmanam ante, jnanavan mam prapadyate. After many, many births, one who is actually advanced in intelligence surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Without surrendering, one cannot achieve liberation. The Bhagavatam says, quote, Those who are simply puffed up, thinking themselves liberated by some non-devotional process, are not intelligent because they have not yet surrendered unto you. In spite of executing all kinds of austerities and penances, or even arriving at the brink of Brahman realization, they think that they are in the effulgence of Brahman. But actually, because they have no transcendental activities, they fall down to material activities. Unquote. One should not be satisfied simply with knowing that he is Brahman. He must engage himself in the service of the Supreme Brahman. That is bhakti. The engagement of Brahman should be the service of Parabrahman. It is said that unless one becomes Brahman, one cannot serve Brahman. The Supreme Brahman is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the living entity is also Brahman. Without realizing that he is Brahman, spirit soul, and eternal servitor of the Lord, if one simply thinks that he is Brahman, his realization is only theoretical. He has to realize and at the same time engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord. Then he can exist in the Brahman status. Otherwise, he falls down. The Bhagavatam says that because non-devotees neglect the transcendental loving service of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, their intelligence is not pure, and therefore they fall down. The living entity must have some activity. If he does not engage in the activity of transcendental service, he must fall down to material activity. As soon as one falls down to material activity, there is no rescue from the cycle of birth and death. It is stated here by Lord Kapila, quote, "Without my mercy," unquote, "Nanyatra mad Bhagavata." The Lord is stated here to be Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, indicating that he is full of all opulences, and is therefore perfectly competent to deliver one from the cycle of birth and death. He is also called Pradhan because he is the Supreme. He is equal to everyone, but to one who surrenders to him, he is especially favorable. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that the Lord is equal to everyone. No one is his enemy, and no one is his friend. But to one who surrenders unto him, he is especially inclined. By the grace of the Lord, simply by surrendering unto him, one can get out of this cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, he may go on in many, many lives, and may many times attempt other processes for liberation. Presently we are so dull and foolish that we do not know what is Bhayam and Tivram. The word Tivram means very terrible, and Bhayam means very fearsome. We are entangled by a very terrible fear, but we have become so dull due to the spell of Maya that we do not care. At the time of death there are many troubles, and we become very fearful. Sometimes, when a person is dying, he falls into a coma and lies unconscious. We do not know what kind of fearful test this person is undergoing. He may be dreaming so many things, or he may be crying. He cannot express what is going on. Those who are very sinful especially die in that way. After death, one has to enter into the womb of another mother. That is also a very fearful stage. One becomes packed in a bag, and this bag is filled with stool and urine, and one has to remain packed in this airtight bag for 9 months. This is a horrible situation, but we have forgotten all about it. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that our real trouble is Janma Mrityu, birth and death. When the living entity is packed in the womb, unable to move, he prays to God, "Please relieve me from this horrible condition. If you relieve me, I shall worship you." Finally, after 9 months, the living entity emerges from the womb, and then he also undergoes so many troubles trying to adjust to the atmosphere of a new planet. As an infant, he cries and cries, and he is totally dependent on his mother's mercy. Sometimes a mother cannot understand what the child wants. Sometimes an ant may be biting the child, but the mother thinks that the child is hungry. There are bugs, worms, mosquitoes, stool, urine, and so many things attacking the new body. These are the threefold miseries, yet we think that we have made such progress. We are being attacked moment after moment by one thing after another, yet people close their eyes to birth, old age, disease, and death. The atheists want to forget these miseries, and therefore they like to think that there is no life after death. They are like ostriches who stick their head in the ground when an enemy approaches. Although the living entity in the womb promises to worship Krishna, when he is delivered from the womb, he does not fulfill his promise. As soon as he is born and grows up, he begins to acquire a good bank balance, a wife and children, and then begins to think that his problems are solved and that he will live very happily. Actually, his problems are not solved. He may have some temporary facilities, but the main problem is still there. Every minute, every second, people are dying and going to Yamaraj. Those who are living are thinking that they will not die. They see that their friends are dying, but somehow or other they think that they are eternal. Yudhishthira Maharaj said that this was the most amazing thing in the world. No one thinks that he is going to die, although everyone else is dying. The living entity thinks that he is very happy in whatever body he gets. He may get the body of a dog or the body of a cat, but he is happy in his body and he does not want to lose it. This is called illusion. When an ant sees danger, he will run like anything. This is because he values his body and does not want to lose it. Once Lord Indra, the king of the heavenly planets, was cursed by Brihaspati to become a hog. He was going about on earth enjoying his hog body when finally Lord Brahma came and told him, "My dear Indra, you have suffered enough. Now come with me and return to your heavenly kingdom." Indra, in the form of a hog, said, "Where shall I go?" "To the heavens," Lord Brahma replied. It was then that Indra said, "No, I have my family and children. How can I go? I am very happy. Let me remain here." In this way, everyone is thinking that he is very happy, although he is in a horrible and fearsome condition. However, one who is actually intelligent can understand that he is not actually happy, that he is suffering. It is said that ignorance is bliss, but this is the bliss of a hog. When one actually comes to the understanding that he is not actually happy in the material world, he can begin to relieve his suffering. There is no possibility of being liberated from suffering without taking shelter at Krishna's lotus feet. People are thinking that they can relieve suffering through abortion by killing the child within the womb. In this way they are committing one sin after another and becoming more and more entangled. Consequently, the aborted living entity will have to enter into the womb of another mother in order to undergo the birth that he is destined to take. Then, when he enters the womb of another mother, he may again be killed, and for many years he may not be allowed to see the light of the sun. In this Kali Yuga, people are becoming so sinful that there is no possibility of rescue unless one takes to Krishna consciousness. The entire human civilization is falling into the illusory fire of Maya. People fly into the fire just like moths. When there is a beautiful fire, moths come from a long distance, enter it, and go pop, pop, pop. In this way one dies, takes birth, and suffers and dies again. Yet Krishna and his devotees are so kind and compassionate that they are unhappy to see all the misery of this material world. Krishna is the father of all living entities, and he is very unhappy to see his sons suffer. Krishna therefore comes and canvasses. Why are you captivated by this false so-called happiness? Give up all of this and surrender to me. Come to me and I will relieve you. You will then live happily, eternally, and blissfully. You will not have any want, nor will you be troubled by anything. For this reason, Krishna comes. Actually, he has no other business to carry out here because his agent, Prakriti, does everything. Nonetheless, out of compassion, Krishna comes in his original form or in an incarnation like Kapila Dev. Krishna also sends his representative, who says, "You rascal, simply take shelter of Krishna and be happy." Krishna comes once in a day of Brahma, and his incarnations also come, to educate foolish people who think that they are living happily on this earth. Kapila Dev comes to propound this Sankhya philosophy, which is unalloyed devotion to the Lord. Herein Kapila Dev says that one is condemned to death unless he takes shelter of the Lord. There is no other way to be saved. We are all in a very fearful situation, but we do not understand this. Under the spell of Maya, we are thinking we are very happy, but this is not a fact. If we want relief from our dangerous situation, we have to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and revive our old connection with Him. What is that connection? We are all His eternal servants. We should not foolishly think that we can become one with God or equal to God. This is all the result of rascaldom. The beginning of knowledge is to understand that we are the eternal sons and servants of Krishna. There is no difference between a son and a servant. The son serves the father, just as the servant serves the master. There is affection between master and servant, and son and father. The father also serves the son in so many ways. Therefore, the relationship is reciprocal. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has defined our original Svarupa, our original identity, as that of eternal servant. People are artificially thinking, "I am independent. I am no one's servant. I have become God. I have become Bhagavan. I am this or I am that." In the material world, it is not very pleasant to be a servant of anyone. We think that being God's servant is like this because we are materially infected. We are thinking that being a servant of God is like being a servant of some man. But in the spiritual world, the servant and the served are the same. For instance, the Guru is the servant of Krishna, but he is accepted as Krishna. Sakshadaritvein asamaste shastrer, uktastatha bhavyate eva sadbhya. Kintu prabhur ya priya eva tasya, vande guru Sri Charanara Vindam. Which means, quote, The spiritual master is to be honored as much as the Supreme Lord because he is the most confidential servitor of the Lord. This is acknowledged in all revealed scriptures and followed by all authorities. Therefore I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master, who is a bona fide representative of Sri Hari, or Krishna." Unquote. From Guru Vastika Prayers, 7th stanza. This is the verdict of all Shastras. The Guru never says, "I am Krishna, I am God, I am Bhagavan." Rather, the Guru says, "I am the most humble servant of the servant of the servant of God." He does not even say that he is the direct servant. Rather, he is the servant 100 times removed. Gopi Bartu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Das Anudas. We should not try to become direct servants, for that is not possible. First of all, we must become the servant of the servant. The Guru is the servant of Krishna, and if we become his servant, we become an actual bona fide servant. That is our real position. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays, "Ai Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Bado," which means, quote, "O son of Nanda Maharaj, I am your eternal servant, but somehow or other I have fallen into this ocean of birth and death." Unquote. From the Shikshashtaka, stanza 5. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu addresses the Supreme Lord Krishna as the son of Nanda Maharaj. Krishna is very pleased if one addresses him as the son of Vasudeva, Yashoda, or Maharaj Nanda. Krishna likes to be named in relation to his pure devotees. Therefore, he is called Yashoda Nandana, Nanda Nandana, Vasudeva Nandana, Radhika Ramana, and so on. Thus, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu addresses Krishna in this way. He says that although he is Krishna's eternal servant, somehow he has fallen into the ocean of birth and death, accepting one body after another, dying and being born again, not only in this planet, but throughout the whole universe in many species of life. This is the situation with conditioned living entities, wandering from one life to another, and from one planet to another for millions upon millions of years. We do not care about this because we say that we are brave and not afraid. We are very proud in this way, but this is a fool's pride. It is said, "Fools rush in where angels fear to tread." In order to save ourselves from this fearful situation, we must take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the verdict of all the Shastras, and Krishna comes for this purpose and sends his devotees who work day and night to propagate this Krishna consciousness movement. Text 42. Madbayad bati bato yam, Suryas tapati madbayat, Varshatindro dahatyagnir, Mrityuscharati madbayat. Translation. It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of fear of me. The sun shines out of fear of me. And the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me, and death goes about taking its toll out of fear of me. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, says in Bhagavad Gita that the natural laws are perfect because of his superintendence. No one should think that nature is working automatically without superintendence. The Vedic literature says that the clouds are controlled by the demigod Indra. Heat is distributed by the sun god. The soothing moonlight is distributed by Chandra, and the air is blowing under the arrangement of the demigod Vayu. But above all these demigods is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the chief living entity. Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanas Chaitananam. The demigods are also ordinary living entities, but due to their faithfulness, their devotional service, they have been promoted to such posts. These different demigods or directors, such as Chandra, Varuna, and Vayu, are called Adhikari Devata. The demigods are departmental heads. The government of the Supreme Lord consists not only of one planet or two or three. There are millions of planets and millions of universes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has a huge government, and he requires assistance. The demigods are considered his bodily limbs. These are described in Vedic literature. The sun god, moon god, fire god, and air god are working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 10, Maya Dyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sa Characharam. The natural laws are being conducted under his superintendence. Because he is in the background, everything is being performed punctually and regularly. One who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely protected from all other influences. He no longer serves or is obliged to anyone else. Of course, he is not disobedient to anyone, but his full power of thought is absorbed in the service of the Lord. The statements by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila, that under his direction the air is blowing, the fire is burning, the sun is giving heat, etc., are not sentimental. The impersonalist may say that the Bhagavatam devotees create and imagine someone as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and assign qualifications to him. But actually, it is neither imagination nor an imposition of artificial power in the name of Godhead. In the Vedas it is said, Vishas mad vata pavate vishodeti surya, which means, quote, out of fear of the Supreme Lord, the wind god and the sun god are acting, unquote. Vishas mad agnish chendrash cha mrityur davati panchama, which means, quote, Agni, Indra, and Mrityu are also acting under his direction, unquote. These are the statements of the Vedas. If the demigods are subject to fear, what of ordinary living entities? Material life is not very happy because we are always fearful of something. No one can say, "I am not afraid of anything." Everyone is afraid of something. There is not a bird, beast, human being, or living entity alive that is not afraid of something. This is because we are absorbed in the bodily conception, thinking, "I am this body." Since everyone is thinking in this way, everyone fears bodily destruction. When there was an earthquake in Los Angeles, everyone ran out of their houses screaming. Everyone was terrified, thinking, "Now death is coming." This is material nature. There are many events in nature that cause fear. There are great cyclones and tornadoes. There is excessive heat and excessive rain. There is flood and famine and war. Yet people are thinking of being happy on this planet. Modern scientists say that there are no demigods and that there is no God, that all events are being carried out by nature. It is true that nature is working, but nature, after all, is nothing but matter. Matter cannot work without being directed by a living being. We cannot say that matter works independently. In the ocean, we always see that there are great waves moving. Water is dull matter, but the air is pushing these great waves and dashing them onto the earth. Scientists say that nature works in this way and that, but nature is not independent. We receive information from authoritative shastras that nature is moving under the direction of the demigods. So we cannot say that these processes are automatically taking place. Scientists admit that nature is working in a wonderful way, but after all, nature is not under their control. The scientists may accept or defy Krishna, but they cannot defy the activities of nature. Everyone is subordinate to nature. Nature, however, is working under the direction of God. Therefore, everyone is subordinate to God. The sun, oceans, land, space, and everything else in material creation are but manifestations of Krishna's external energy. Nothing is independent of Krishna or his energy. In Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, verse 44, it is said that material nature is so powerful that it can create, maintain, and destroy in itself. Srishti, Stiti, Pralaya, Sadhana, Shaktir, Eka. However, material nature is working just like a shadow. If we place our hand before a light, we can see its shadow move on a wall. Similarly, material nature is working due to the touch of spirit soul. It is not possible for an automobile to drive itself. A person, a spirit soul, must be within to push certain buttons. Due to the touch of the spirit soul, the machine is moving. The entire universe is similarly moving due to the touch of God. According to the Shastras, the wind is blowing, the water is moving, the sun is shining, and the earth is revolving under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If the directors of the different material elements do not work properly, they are punished by their master, Krishna. When Krishna was present on this earth, he saw that Lord Indra, the Lord of the heavens and of rain, was somewhat puffed up. Krishna therefore advised his father, Nanda Maharaj, not to bother worshipping Indra. He told his father, "There is no need to offer sacrifices to Indra. It is better to worship Govardhan Hill, which is the representative of God. The cows receive their grass and grains from Govardhan Hill. Therefore it is better to worship it. At first Nanda Maharaj was not willing to do this, but out of affection for Krishna he finally agreed. When Indra saw that Nanda Maharaj was worshipping Govardhan Hill, he became very angry and sent vicious clouds to inundate all of Vrindavan with a flood. Krishna then showed Indra that his power was not even competent to deal with the little finger of his, Krishna's, left hand. Therefore Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill with the small finger of his left hand and used it as an umbrella to save all the people of Vrindavan from Indra's torrents. All of this is related in Srimad Bhagavatam. Thus everyone is a servant. No one can actually claim to be master. If we simply take shelter of Krishna, we do not have to offer sacrifices to various demigods. If we water the root of a tree, we do not have to water the branches, twigs, flowers, or fruits. If we supply food to the stomach, we do not have to feed the eyes, hands, and legs separately. Similarly, if we worship Krishna, the source of everything, no other worship is necessary. Large amounts of wealth are necessary to perform sacrifices. In former ages, tons of food were offered in a fire as a sacrifice, but this is not possible in this age. Therefore, Sankirtan Yajna, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, is recommended. Anyone can chant Hare Krishna. There is no need for instruments, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced the mridanga or drum and kartals or cymbals. Otherwise, clapping in itself is sufficient. Anyone can sit down with his family, clap hands, and chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This Sankirtan is very easy to perform. In the evening, people go to restaurants and cinemas and waste time and money at clubs and dances. They are not aware of the fearful situation of birth, old age, disease, and death. People are carried away by the waves of material nature, and they have submitted to its laws. We should not waste our time in this valuable human form, but should begin to solve our problems. Eventually, everything on this earth will be annihilated. At present, 3/4 of this earth is covered with water. In the beginning, the entire earth was covered with water, but gradually the water is drying up and more land is emerging. Since the land has emerged, we have calculated that this is the Asian continent. This is North America, South America, Africa, and so on. Eventually, there will be no water but only land, and this means that there will ultimately be destruction. Since there will be no water, the heat will be scorching, and eventually the earth will be burned to ashes. Then again there will be rainfall, and everything will be mixed up again, and again there will be destruction. In this way, things come into existence and are dissolved. Similarly, this body comes into existence, takes a nice form, and then is finally finished forever. We will then have to get another body. The body is like a bubble. It is present for one moment, then it bursts and is gone forever. We simply take on one bubble after another, one body after another, and we think that we will become happy in this way because we are so foolish. Krishna comes as a person like us, but we are such rascals that we think he is simply a man, and this is our misfortune. If we just surrender unto Krishna, we will no longer be subjected to the karma of different bodies. Even if we attempt to render some devotional service to him and fall down, we lose nothing and gain everything. A human life is guaranteed in our next birth. It is therefore to our benefit to accept Krishna.